So approval feels good when you first experience it. It feels almost effortless. It feels like a breeze that lifts you for a moment and makes you feel seen, valued, recognized. But the thing is, the pursuit of approval becomes heavy in ways that most people don't really recognize until they are already too deep into it, until they're already carrying the weight of it. What do I mean by that? You start adjusting yourself in small ways. Your tone, your opinions, your posture, your choices, because you want to be accepted. And at first it feels harmless, even smart, because doing this would make these people love me. And who doesn't want to be loved? Slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin trading pieces of yourself for the comfort of being approved. And the more you trade, the more you realize that approval is never satisfied. It always asks for more. And modern society and modern life has turned approval of others into this sort of currency, and we spend ourselves trying to earn this currency. We curate our personalities, we filter our emotions, we rehearse reactions. We shape our identities in such a way where we are concerned of being applauded rather than what is true. Being applauded becomes more important than what is true and what is not. Approval becomes addictive because it mimics love, but it's not really love. It's performance. And the more that you do perform, the less you recognize the person behind the performance. We are mesmerized by the creation, but we don't pay attention. We don't even think about the creator. You start living with this split inside you. There's the self that you show people for the sole purpose of approval and feeling good and feeling nice. And then there's the self that you keep to yourself, the self that you think if shown to people, they would hate you for it. And that split becomes exhausting because you're constantly micromanaging perception itself, constantly calculating how you're being interpreted, constantly checking to look at the mirror of public opinion to make sure that you still live up to it, that you still measure up to it. And the tragedy is that the people whose approval you chase are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. Most people are way too busy managing their own insecurities and micromanaging their own perception and the perception of the people that surround them, because that is what they're concerned about, how the people that surround them view them. Look, if you are still trying to live to please someone, then there is no way that you can align yourself to live for a higher purpose, a purpose higher than those people whose approval you seek. You build this fake threshold for yourself, this fake canopy that you cannot physically pass, at least it seems like to you. Even without quoting the Bible, the truth is obvious. You cannot live with integrity while being controlled by the opinions of almost every single person that you meet. Approval and authenticity cannot coexist, at least not in a healthy manner. Cannot coexist without demolishing you. Approval feels good when you receive it, but it becomes heavy when you depend on it, much like all other sorts of addiction, because your sense of worth is now external. It's outside of your control, your sense of worth. And anything external, I don't know if you noticed, can be taken away. You start to hesitate before you speak. You second guess your instincts. You start shaping your decisions around what will be applauded rather than what is right. And for men specifically, Approval often hides behind achievement, status, competence, image, or dominance. But underneath all that, it's the same kind of fear. It's the same kind of insecurity that makes you ask, what if you're not enough? Or whether you're enough, rather. And again, when your identity depends on performance, failure inevitably becomes catastrophic. But there is another kind of weight, a better one, a weight that doesn't crush you, but ground you instead. It's the weight of living for something higher than human opinion, the weight of conviction, the weight of integrity, the weight of purpose, the weight of knowing and really knowing that your life is anchored to something that doesn't shift around with the crowd, that you have a strong foundation. The difference is that this weight is heavier in the beginning. Because it requires honesty, courage, and sacrifice, there's a learning curve to it, let's put it that way. But it becomes lighter over time, because it frees you from the exhausting cycle of performance. Approval is loud, in the sense that it's pleasing, but it's temporary. Purpose is quiet in that sense, but it is enduring. Approval changes with the mood of the crowd. Conviction stays steady, even when the crowd disappears, especially when the crowd disappears. Approval makes you fragile, brittle, and just weak in a way, because it ties your self-worth to perception. And perception is the one thing in this entire planet that is truly subjective, that's truly different in every person you ever meet. And in that sense, again, purpose makes you stronger because it ties your worth to something that will never change. A strong, stable foundation, like I said. The weight of glory, the weight of living with integrity, living with purpose, living in alignment with something higher than public opinion is the only thing that doesn't break you, but builds you up. And once you taste that kind of freedom, true freedom, the approval you used to chase begins to feel small and irrelevant, because you finally see now that the approval and the applause of even the whole entire world is too cheap a reward to sacrifice your own identity for. Concludingly, we're going to move over to Galatians chapter 1, verse 10. For do I now persuade men or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. Good luck. I am rooting for you. Amen.